Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Grown and Sexy Singles Over 40. I'm your host, DeShannon, and I thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've been rocking with me for the last couple of weeks, you know that we've had some pretty exciting shows. We just did an intro show, the first part of What a Man Wants, and now we're back with part two. Want to let you know a couple of things before we got started. We air Mondays, 9 p.m., re-air Thursdays, 9 p.m., and Saturdays at 11. We've got some exciting things coming up. I've got a sex therapist coming, and she's going to talk to us about healthy sexual relationships. So stay tuned for that. Lock in, subscribe, follow me. You know, I'm just simply DeShannon. I don't want anything in the front of my name. I don't want any commas behind my name. Not when we're talking about this, because I'm good and grown. I still think I'm sexy. I'm single, and I'm over 40. So now, you know, we had this guy on just last week. So George is back with us. He's a friend of mine. He's single. He's educated, he has a great career, military guy, you know, so go ahead and slide in his DMs if you want to. He's a good guy, I can vouch for that. But we're gonna be talking about part two of What a Man Wants. You know, last week we talked about what we thought was sexy, and we talked about what men want in a woman as far as long-term relationships. And we're going to recap some of that just in case you missed it. But I just found out if you go over to Hope TV, download the app or online, you can just click the Grown and Sexy link and you can watch a replay of all the shows. So if you missed part one, go ahead and watch that because it was exciting. But part two, we're going to get into some other things. And we're just going to have a candid conversation because like I said, hey, I'm just trying to navigate this thing. I am newly single, or what they call single again. And, oh, wait a minute. I need to address a couple of things before we get started. Because some people been in my inbox saying, well, what happened to your husband? What you mean what happened to him? He's happily remarried for over a year. He's doing well. I wish him the best. And then I kept getting things like, oh, I ain't know you were single. Well, I didn't put an announcement out. Because unless you got an uncle, deacon, pastor, brother, friend, it's not your business. So if you're like me, when people don't know and they're just finding out, you know, how do you respond to that? When people are like, oh my gosh, you know, I can pray for y'all. No. Let people live their life and live as you're living yours. So again, this is Grown and Sexy for singles over 40. I'm going to help you navigate this thing. I'm DeShannon. Go ahead and follow me on all social media. I'm DeShannon Speaks. DeShannonSpeaks.org is my website. And so get to know me as we navigate through this phase of our life, which is going to be the best phase. So again, welcome, George, back to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me again. Okay.
Okay. So last time we talked about what men thought was sexy because I wanted to know from a male point of view because we got to talking about like BBLs, all of this, going to Dominican Republic, getting our bodies done. And George made a comment. He said, y'all don't listen. And I know, okay, before y'all rip him to shreds, he doesn't know all women. We're not saying all women. He was making a general statement about women and their bodies. So I kind of want to start there because I'm telling you, I told y'all before, if those taxes hit right and y'all catch me on a plane coming back from the Dominican Republic or Miami, just mind your business because some of those videos on Instagram and stuff look amazing. But I was asking him at his age now, which is obviously he told me that he thought different when he was in his 20s or 30s, but at his age now, let the women know what you consider sexy.
Okay. Well, like we talked about before, at 53 years old, sex is totally different from what sexy was at 25 or 30. I think a woman's intellect is sexy. I think the fact that someone is compatible, someone that's agreeable, someone I can get along with, someone that I enjoy being in that company is sexy. So it's
So
totally
sexy
different.
is not a look; it's a being.
Yeah. I mean, you could be attractive physically, but you can be a moron, when you actually meet them in person, and that happens a lot. I mean, obviously, physical attraction is totally different. Obviously, pictures can be photoshopped and everything else.
Okay, so let's get into
Yeah.
that a little bit, because I'm going to do a show on the online dating, navigating online dating. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is having current pictures. But for my guy friends, they're saying that the person that they see may or may not be the person that they meet. And so, what are you saying about that?
I can tell you that that's probably not the case. I mean, like I say, a 53-year-old is they have they have experiences, and they look totally different than someone is 30. I can say that there's nothing wrong with showing a picture when you're 30 and showing the age progression from what you look like, but there's a difference between showing someone that a picture of 30 years old and now you're 53 and it looks totally different. So there's nothing. I mean, we all age. I mean, so
Right.
obviously we have flaws and things like that, but that's one of the flaws of actually dating not online but dating in person, because you really don't know. You all have so many magic tricks to what y'all do with the makeup and the body shaping things and everything else, and then actually the real person comes out 6 months later.
Well, I mean, okay, so yes, we can do tricks with makeup.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, wait a minute. Do y'all see this guy? I look pretty much the same with or without makeup on. But I do wear shapewear, and I don't use filters, though. And so when I meet guys, they say to me, "You look exactly like your picture," as if they were expecting me not to look like my picture. So have you had any experience with like filters where the person really, it was a current picture, but it didn't necessarily look like them in person?
Okay, just so we're clear, obviously you all women know that there's filters, makeup, everything else that actually enhance whatever you all got going on.
Yeah.
So we all know that you all know that how even the angles that you all take pictures in. We all know that. So let's just be clear. Let's just be straight up.
Okay,
So
but the question is, have you experienced someone that looked
absolutely,
different? And so how
absolutely.
did you respond to that?
I responded where we had a good time,
Yeah.
and I made the most of it, and we said our goodbyes, and that was it.
Well, was that off-putting to you, or was that misrepresenting to you? Do you think that was a misrepresentation of who that person was?
Well, she knew that, and I knew that. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, when we met, and she knew that when I said, "Oh, who are you?" She knew I didn't know who she was based on her photograph.
Oh, goodness. Well, I hope, now ladies, let's be clear. Now, there are a lot of filters, and some of them are just cute for picture taking, but you still want to show up and the person recognizes you. So, yes, makeup is fine, shapewear, whatever you need to do to feel confident, but you can't show up totally looking like someone else, because that happened to me, but that's a whole nother show.
Oh, so some man did that?
Well, but
How?
this is called what a man wants. This is
right,
not my
okay.
story this time. But I'm telling y'all, when I tell y'all this story, y'all gonna be like, what? How did that happen? And it did happen to me. But we're talking about, what men want in women, and we talked about at your age now, if you're looking to settle down, you're looking for somebody that's compatible, that you guys can have a conversation with, kind of thing. But what else? What else? If a woman is watching and she's looking to be married for the first time or remarried,
Okay.
what are some things that men are looking for outside of what the person looks like physically.
Okay, well, someone that's agreeable. I mean, I don't, you know.
When you say agreeable, does that mean non-confrontational, or does that mean agreeing to everything you say?
Obviously, I didn't say agreeing to everything I said.
I just asked the question.
You know, we don't need to go there.
I just asked.
Agreeable. What I mean by agreeable is someone that's actually that you can have a good time with without any confrontation, where you feel comfortable. You're going out doing whatever you're doing, your daily activities, or your breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whatever, and it's not a strain. When you know, whenever you meet someone that you know that you're compatible with, it's not a struggle to actually be with them on a daily basis.
I get that, because at some point in life, as we get older, you just want to be able to relax.
Yeah.
I want to go home and relax and do whatever I need to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think for people our age that may have been married before, you've learned a lot of what I would consider life lessons. Can you share one of the lessons that you've learned through life with dating women that your 53-year-old self didn't know at 30 or 40?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. One of the things I've learned at being my age now is the fact that sometimes when you meet someone initially, that's who they are. So when you go out with them, you date them, don't try to make them anything different than who you actually see initially. Your interpersonal relationship with them is who they are. So I try not to make anybody any different than what they are. If I meet you and we're not compatible initially, and I say, okay, we had a good time, it was a great date, good luck to you, I wish you well in your search. Some women take that as, okay, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you is there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that we're not compatible. And men know that initially.
I wonder if just women may not be used to someone saying that. And that may be, I'm going to say, the shocking point. If somebody just says, you know, good luck to you.
You know what? I've been called misogynist. I've been called a whole bunch of different things because I've been straight up with what I'm looking for and what I want to accept. So when I tell you we go out, we have a good date, and we had a good time, but I tell you we're not compatible long term, and I tell you that women are used to being on the other end of that, telling men that they're not we're not compatible and that this is our last date. When on my end, if I tell a woman we've had a good time but we're not compatible, why do I have to be called all these different names and this and another after that?
I think that's just a defense mechanism.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know if it holds any weight, but I think because for women, the women that I know, clearly I don't know all women, so the women that I know, they're looking for a long-term partner. And so every date that they go on may be approached that way. And I think that may be concerning, and I want to have a show to address that, because some of them are not just looking to, hey, let's go, we both got to eat, let's just go and have a good time, or let's go dancing or whatever. They're looking at every date as a potential husband, long-term guy. And so for them to hear the words that you just said may be a little bit off-putting to them, or not expected, because they may have been the one trying to figure out if they wanted you or not.
Well, yeah, I think it goes not only goes both ways, but I mean, initially when you meet someone and either you're compatible or you're not, and I'm man enough to say, look, you know what, this isn't working out. Good luck to you. I wish you well. So with that being said, not only am I spending time with you initially on that first date, we're doing different things, but I feel like there's nothing wrong with me telling you we wouldn't be a good fit.
Well, I mean,
I'm not going to waste my time or yours.
I agree with that, because that is a time waster, especially if you know what your end goals are.
I've even read just recently in a study that was done between 2018 through 2020 that there's been an increase in hypertension amongst just Americans in general?
One of our things is our diet. So we have a high salt diet. And African Americans, increasing salt causes us to retain fluid, and that starts to also increase your blood pressure. Another disparity probably for us is that we don't go to the doctors regularly, so, and probably African American men are probably worse than African American women, but we just don't go get regular checkups, Most people assume that when their blood pressure is high that they'll know, and that's false. Your blood pressure can be through the roof and you feel totally fine.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Now let's cook.
Do you find that men in general, our age, we're talking about, over 40, do you think the goal is to be remarried, or do you think the goal is hey, I'm finally single again and let me just see what is the mood, what is the theme of the guys are they looking to get remarried, or are they just looking to have a good time?
Well, I can tell you that I would think that someone at my age, we're tired of ripping and running.
Yeah.
We know what's out there, and what we're looking for is very rare. And when I'm dating someone, I do look for long-term potential, and my goal is long-term. However, there's a whole bunch of things that go into that. For an example, I met someone a couple of months ago, and it seemed like we were hitting it off, and I told her, I said, this isn't working out. And she was surprised because she thought everything was fine. Well, no, everything wasn't fine.
You just wasn't verbalizing what wasn't fine?
No, I did.
Oh.
She just didn't listen.
Okay. Oh, that's it. Oh, he opened the gate right there for me.
Once again, she didn't listen.
That was our thing. So, to y'all, me and George are friends, and we have these conversations, and I think we have very candid conversations that nobody's upset, and we're not screaming and hollering, any of that kind of thing. But I'm able to ask him what I call guy questions, like just man questions that I just want to know. And he said to me, and let me just tell y'all this. I have a nephew that's 37. And hey, Cam. Cam is living in North Carolina. He's my sister's son. And I was asking Cam some questions because I was getting ready to start this show. And he was saying the same exact things, almost verbatim, as George. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. So I was like, so there's something to this. And what I wanted to let our listeners and our viewers know is that they have a thing that they are all thinking somewhat similar because they never met. They don't know each other.
Never talked to them before.
Never. And they were saying some of the same things. And one of the things that both of them said is, y'all don't listen. And I was like, wait a minute. Now, before I, because I could get difficult. before I said anything, I wanted them to talk to me about that. So he was alluding to, George was just saying, hey, he met this lady, they've been dating a couple months, and she thought everything was good, but he didn't, and he'd been saying things to her all the time, and she wasn't listening, or she didn't hear what he said. And so I wanted to just jump in right there and say, what do you mean by we don't listen?
Well, it's simple. I mean, we're basic people. We'll tell you exactly, if we're interested in you or not interested in you. I don't believe in telling you anything that's untrue.
Okay.
If there's a problem in our relationship or friendship or whatever it is, I'll tell you directly. And you say, well, you didn't tell me. I'm like, I did tell you. I told you this wasn't working out. We need to move on or whatever. So you take that as there's something in me I need to change for him to like me. Men know initially 2-3 weeks, months, or whatever, whatnot, they actually looking at you long term. So all these 6 and 7, 8 year relationships that people have, and they say, okay, now let's get engaged, whatever. That's pressure that's put on by the woman to the man. Men know immediately whether or not you're marriage material or not.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have always felt like that. And whether this is popular opinion or not, I was like, love is a decision. And you have to decide and then decide to commit. And so I feel that way. I feel like you're saying that people know initially if they want to pursue something with a person or not. But my nephew said the same thing. He said, y'all don't do things for us, y'all do things for each other.
Absolutely.
And I was like, what? He was like, all that makeup and all that stuff. I mean, and he ain't even in the 40 group yet, guys. He's 37. And George had said that very same thing. And I was like, okay, what? Well, and so I think sometimes when we're looking to attract a man long term, we really don't know what you're looking for. And so this is the purpose of this show. What do you guys want? What should we be doing or not doing? And so when they said we don't listen, it's like, well, if you told me things aren't working out and I didn't hear that because I thought...
Oh, you heard it.
Well, I heard it, but I might have thought if I do something different, that would change the outcome. And I think, and one of the things my nephew said is, women will stay in relationships thinking that they're going to change someone when the person
Absolutely.
is really saying what it is that they want.
Absolutely.
And if they were going to do something different, they would have. And one of the things my brother taught me a long time ago, I have a brother that's 2 years older than me. He said, you can't make a man do nothing he don't want to do. And that has stuck with me for 30 years.
Right.
Because he was right.
I need to talk to your brother.
And so he told me that. And that in my mind was like, okay, I get that. So, red flags. When say you like somebody, or initially you guys are liking each other, and you're saying to me or to us now that men kind of know if they like you long term, or they're trying to figure out if they're looking for things, not really audible things, but how you may maneuver at their home or out in public, or whatever that is. Why are you laughing?
You know why I'm laughing.
I do know why he's laughing, but they're looking for things because, like, him and my nephew were saying the same things. Like, they want to make sure the person can do basic stuff like cook and clean and take care of kids, or if that was, if you're in have children or whatever that is, or if you have older kids, are they mannerable, or did they turn out what is relatively well, or whatever that situation is. And so I want to know, what's an immediate red flag? Like flag, just like
Well, one of the immediate red flags I have is if I meet you the way I am now, and you immediately want to change something I'm doing, or my mannerisms, or even my look.
Give me an example of that.
Well, for look, I know you never see me with a beard on. so I don't normally wear facial hair. So if you told me, I want you to have facial hair, because what you're doing is you're memorizing someone else that had facial hair, and you would want to know what I look like with that on. So I came totally different looking today, just so I look, because I look different. You've
Well,
never
I mean, you look different, but I mean, are women really doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I would, because in my mind,
they want to
we
dress
would-
you. They want you to be exactly what they want you to be, minus any kind of any kind of male energy. They want to dress you. They want a small kid that they can have sex with.
Okay.
They want some.
Well, okay. Well, now let's go back to dressing. I mean, because some men need some assistance.
No, I wouldn't know. I don't.
Okay.
I don't look at men like that.
Well, some men do need assistance, and I don't think there's anything wrong with making suggestions.
Well, you can make suggestions, but when you lay his clothes out like he's in the 5th grade, that's totally different. And if you feel like you need to do that, he probably wasn't the person for you initially. Okay. So you're successful, educated woman. She's got a lot going on. If you feel like you need to dress a man at 50 years old, then obviously he's not the right man for you. Wouldn't you agree?
I can agree with that.
If he's 50 years old and he don't know how to dress, don't know how to carry himself, at what point can you actually translate that to a relationship?
Well, I think for my friends, or they're looking, those are things that's still negotiable. They're not in the non-negotiable bucket.
Well,
and
they
so
say that.
For you guys, you know, when I'm talking about red flags, when I'm talking to men about red flags, they're non-negotiables. Meaning, if it's a red flag, it means I do not want a relationship with you. Where women will see a red flag and try to turn it yellow.
Oh, okay. So you want to build a bear. You want to build a man into what you want him to be, minus the testosterone.
Well, I don't know what.
I mean, that's what you just said. You just
I said that for some women, red flags, they want to turn them yellow, meaning that they can work with it at some point. Now, I don't say that that's successful for them. I'm saying that may be the case. So what's the red flag? What's your number one red flag? Oh, you said trying to change your, what's another one?
I mean, that, and if you're a smoker or if you're so arrogant as where you can't be dealt with.
So what's the difference between arrogance and confidence in a woman?
Well, you should know that. I mean, so some of the arrogance is false arrogance. I mean, obviously, you know, we all want to put our best foot forward, and we all want to show that we are the best of ourselves. But a lot of it is false. Especially when you meet not only people online, but you can show all these different pictures and all these different everything. A man has got his stuff together, don't really care what your social accomplishments are, if your professional accomplishments are. We're looking for someone that we can get along with, someone we can spend time with, and forget everything else you've been doing socially or professionally. Yeah,
because at the end of the day,
it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't. So you were saying that initially you knew, or you will start looking at a person if they will be long-term for you. When do you get to the point where you really think you see the real person? Like, outside of the initial putting your best foot forward, when is that?
The truth is, that's pillow talk.
Yeah.
Pillow talk actually tells you exactly who they are when they actually are totally exposed, and they don't have to have anything about them that they're trying to be either showing out about or something they don't have to actually show that I'm more than what I am. You can just be yourself. Now, if you actually can be yourself around a person, then that's actually the person a man wants to be with.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I don't know about women, but man wants somebody they're compatible with. Mm-hmm. You know, if can I just walk with you and hang out with you and do different things with you, and not be a struggle. Yeah. Don't ask me these dumb questions that you ask. You know, don't.
We ain't even got time for him to go into that.
Don't ask me things that they really, you're trying to actually get a response that actually responds to how you want me to feel. if you ask me a question, really listen to what I'm saying, and you'll get a real response from me, not what you want to hear. And all the times, it's not going to be what you want to hear. That doesn't mean we're not compatible. It just means that
We have a
on
difference
that
of
particular
opinion.
issue, we have a difference of opinion.
Okay, guys, so listen, this is part 2. I don't know if I'm going to bring this guy back or not because we're not even nowhere near finished. But this is season 6. We're getting ready to pop into season 7 shortly, and he might be a feature on my show because I think this is very helpful to hear. Some of it for me was difficult to hear, and it was so funny when him and my nephew were talking. They said, "Oh, well, she's gonna get off the phone because she doesn't want to hear what we're saying."
You almost
now.
did too.
I did because it was foreign. So listen. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. You know, we're talking about things that people don't talk about out in the open. I told you I was going to have a sex therapist on. She's actually coming on in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you've been married or if you've been in a long-term relationship and you've had access to sex, whether it was good, not bad, whatever, and suddenly you find yourself single again, what do you do with all that sexual energy? I know in the Black community, sex is bad until you're married, and then it's supposed to be good. We don't really talk about things like we should in Black households. So I want to bring on a sex therapist to help us navigate some of those issues. Now, of course, if abstinence is your thing, she's going to talk about that, whatever it is. But we want to have, we're good and grown. We're good and grown. We still think we're sexy. We're single and we're over 40. So we should be able to have these types of conversations. So follow me on all social media. His social media handle is right under his picture. Contact him. Oh my God, LinkedIn for him. First name, last name. He's got over 26,000 connections. I've never seen somebody with that many connections that I personally knew. So look, hook up with him there. Shoot your shot, slide in his DMs, whatever you need to do. He's single, guys. He's a friend of mine.
Don't say guys.
I'm meaning guys, meaning everybody, guys and girls. But again, my name is DeShannon, simply DeShannon. I know some of y'all put something in front of my name when y'all see me, and professionally there's a comma behind my name, but that's not who I am right now. I'm grown. I still think I'm sexy. I'm single. And I'm over 40. So this has been another episode. And listen, Mondays, 9 p.m., Thursdays, the replay, Saturday at 11. So just subscribe, mark your calendars, tag somebody. I told you this wasn't just for women. This is a guy show too, because we're going to talk about real things all the time. Thank you so much, guys. It's been great. It's been great. Thank you.
I've even read just recently in a study that was done between 2018 through 2020 that there's been an increase in hypertension amongst just Americans in general.
One of our things is our diet. So we have a high salt diet. And African Americans, increase in salt causes us to retain fluid, and that starts to also increase your blood pressure. Another disparity probably for us is that we don't go to the doctors regularly. And probably African American men are probably worse than African American women, but we just don't go get regular checkups. Most people assume that when their blood pressure is high that they'll know, and that's false. Your blood pressure can be through the roof and you feel totally fine.